What's going on, guys? Aero here, and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the latest information about Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Now we've gotten a few new things, so I do want to talk to you guys about that and give you guys my thoughts, but after that I want to talk to you guys about a certain leak that's been going around that a lot of people are thinking might end up being true, so I want to give you guys my thoughts on that and take a look at all the information. Alright, so the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is a special video that was actually sent out to the Secret Pokemon Trainers Club. Now I talked about this club in the past before, but basically it's a special club where you can sign up on a website and that's only exclusive to Japan, and they get sent little fun things about the games before they come out. And actually this time around they got sent a special video about the first town of Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. I don't think we have the name of it, but we got to see a little bit of footage of just the main character walking around in the town. They didn't go inside of any buildings or anything like that, but it's just nice to see what the game looks like, and we also get to hear what the town is going to sound like as well. So there was even music playing. I'll have the video playing while I'm talking about this portion right now, but if you actually want to hear the music that plays during this town and everything, I'll have it linked in the description so you can go and check it out for yourself. Now my general impressions about this is that it actually looks pretty well done. I'm actually very excited to see what it's going to look like when I get the games for myself, but it does look really nice. I love how the colors are all vibrant and they pop out. I think all the buildings and everything look pretty nice as well. I love how there's the Wooloo scattered throughout the town as well, so yeah, overall it looks really well done. Now I won't have the town music playing in this video, but if you actually go and watch that video for yourself, the music sounds really well done as well. It kind of reminds me of Gen 3 and Gen 5, so I'm a big fan of the music. And the really nice thing to see is that they have been changing up some of the things that people have noticed weren't all that good looking, because we've actually seen this town earlier in the summer, and if we actually compare that footage now to the footage that we've gotten, you can actually see now that they have made a few changes to the textures on the bushes, some of the textures on the grass, as well as the floor and the pavement. So things like that have been improving, so I'm glad to see that, and I can't wait to see what everything is going to look like once it's all improved in the final version. Now the next thing that I want to talk to you guys about is that we actually have a map of the wild area that's going to appear inside of the Galar region, and I'll put that up on screen for you guys, and so you can kind of see it is a little bit blurry. We don't have a fully high resolution image yet, but we are able to make out some of the things where the desert areas are, where the lakes are, and some of the grassy areas. Now the pretty easy thing to tell from this map is that it actually looks like it's going to be a pretty big area, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing how long it's actually going to be, how far is it going to stretch out, how far are we actually going to be able to explore. So I'm actually looking forward to that. It kind of reminds me of Breath of the Wild, that great plateau that you started out on. It might not be nearly as big as that, but even if it's half the size or kind of close to that size, it would be really nice to have that be the size of the wild area. And the last thing that I want to talk to you guys about is that we actually have images of what the title screens are going to look like for Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. And so we can see right here, I'll put them up on screen for you guys. They definitely seem like they're going to be focusing on that whole stadium and sports-like aspect of the Galar region, because we know now that gym battles are going to be taking place in these big stadiums. So I really do like how they're going for that whole aspect, because since the region is based off of the UK, that's definitely a big part of it. So we only have these images of the title screen, but it would be nice if someone actually got footage of the little movie that plays before we get to see the logos, but I don't think that that's going to come out for a while, but it is nice to see what we can expect when we get the game and turn on the title screen. Alright, so for the second half of this video, I want to talk to you guys about this Wise Man leak that's been going around, and a lot of people have been talking about it, and the way that a lot of this is phrased by the leaker, it's making people think that it might actually sound like what Game Freak and the Pokemon Company could come up with, so I do want to read through it and give you guys my thoughts. And so yeah, let's take a look. It's kind of funny here, the image is of this person right here. I guess this is supposed to be the Wise Man, but yeah, if we take a look down here, basically the way that this was formatted wasn't the person just gave information. It was a Q&A format where people asked questions about the game and then they responded with information. So here we go. The first thing that was asked was, what is one non-legendary Pokemon that we haven't seen in leaks or in trailers that you liked, the name, the theme, the typing, etc. And he said here, Roly-Coly's evolution, the middle stage one, Roly-Coaster, sort of like a minecart that creates its own track. So that actually seems like it could be possible as well. If we actually have that image of where you can find Roly-Coly, I'll put that up on screen for you guys. It is in this cave where there's minecarts, so it would make a lot of sense if the evolution turns out to be something along those lines. So I could see that happening. The next thing here is, okay, what about one that isn't legendary, an evolved stage of someone we haven't already seen, or something already in trailers? And they said Turfworm, which is going to be a ground and bug type Pokemon. So Turfworm, that kind of sounds like it might be the early bug Pokemon that you find, the Suwaddle, the Suwaddle, the Caterpie, the Wurmple, that type of Pokemon. So yeah, Ground and Bug is also a pretty unique typing. I think the only one that we've had is for Nincada, right? Like before it evolved into Ninjask and Shedinja. I think that was the only other Bug and Ground type. So it would be nice if this one kept the Bug and Ground typing all the way to its final stage. So that would be a pretty cool typing to have for a Pokemon. But yeah, I think it'll probably be like the early Bug Pokemon that you can catch pretty early. Can you give us the name of one non-starter, non-legendary Pokemon that's not in the game at all? So, this is from, the Pokemon that are going to be cut. And so they said here, as in has been cut, Salandit. So, yeah, apparently if this turns out to be true, y'all can type in F in the comments for Salandit, because it looks like you might not be able to bring Salandit or Salazzle into Pokemon Sword and Shield, and you're not going to be able to find it in the games at all. The next thing was, this person asked a bunch of questions. What are the Box Legends typings? What is the elephant Pokemon that the chairman sends out in the trailer? What is the pseudo-legendary? And any cool ghost type? But they only answered the first question. He just said here, Steel and Fairy for both. So if Zacian and Zamazenta are both going to be Steel and Fairy, that's going to be a very interesting type combo. Like, Steel I think everybody expected, because, Sword and Shield, Steel type, makes sense. But Fairy, I don't see where they get Fairy from. But then again, I mean, Galarian Ponyta, we all thought that was going to be a Fairy, and it's not. And we know that Galarian Weezing is a Fairy type, so I don't know what they think is a Fairy anymore. But yeah, we'll have to see if that turns out to be true. The cool thing though is that this question that they asked up here, what is the pseudo-legendary, got answered because someone else asked it. They said, what is the pseudo, any cool dragon type, any form for non-Kantomons? They said here the pseudo is Ouroboros, snake, or an Ouroboros line that starts from a slow worm and ends up as a giant self-eating dragon snake. So if we look up this, I'll put like the image of it on screen. So it's interesting. It's definitely like a snake that eats itself. So I don't know how that's going to work, but it's a very interesting concept, and it's going to be a ghost and dragon type. Let's see here. This is just clarification because some people were impersonating him. Now if we move on here to the next part of the questions, let me just scroll up to the top here. This person asked starter Evos. So he says here, Grookey is going to evolve into Grunky, and then Goroka, which is going to be a grass and normal type. Scorbunny is going to evolve into Reboot, and we've actually heard about Reboot because of like that other Ben Affleck leak that turned out to be correct with everything, so of course they had to put Reboot. Even if this person was just making up random stuff, they had to go off of that leak because that leak is basically confirmed at this point. So yeah, he has Reboot here, and then Hair Trick, which is going to stay as a pure fire, which was also in the Ben Affleck leak. And then for Sobble, we already knew about Sobble's entire line. We knew it was going to be Sobble, Sizzle, and Inteleon. We don't know what the final typing was going to be, and so the person here did say it's going to be water and poison apparently. So that's also a pretty unique typing. I can't think off the top of my head if we do have any water and poison types. Actually we do. We have Toxapex, right? Yeah, Toxapex is the water and poison type. I can't think of any others, but like I'll put them on screen when I'm editing so we can see how many we have. But that's a pretty unique type combo. This person here says, tell me about Impidimp, Wisemon. Impidimp hangs upside down in caves like a bat and pounces at you from off screen. It evolves into a gargoyle demon vampire thing named Impostire. Now I don't know if that's supposed to be pronounced like imposter, impostire. I think it's tire, but we'll see like which way when the game come out if it turns out to be true. But that's definitely a pretty interesting concept. It definitely makes sense to be hanging upside down like monkeys and like jumping at you. So that would be a cool encounter. If you guys remember in like Sun and Moon, there's like some types of encounters you could get where you just walk past a bush and like something would jump out at you. It would be really cool if that's like how Impidimp works, where you're just walking around somewhere and Impidimp will jump out at you. That would be a pretty cool way to have an encounter. Alright, this person here asked like what's Scorbunny's final evolution gonna look like, and will Sawsbuck be in the game? And they said here Hairtrick is somewhat humanoid, but it's got facial features that are very animal, so once again doesn't really help us to see what the Pokemon is gonna look like, but I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see when we actually get the games. This person here says, tell us about the legendary dog's abilities. They can both Gigantamax for the whole battle, is the response. It worries me because I'm not sure if they're never going to be usable in other games. That's definitely true. I mean, that's a pretty interesting ability, and I can see that happening because of how Gigantamaxing is like a big part of this game. So if that's what their ability is, just allowing them to be able to Gigantamax for the whole battle, because we know normally after 3 turns you just revert back to your normal form. So yeah, that would be a pretty interesting concept. I don't know how it's going to work. I guess it would really make sense to see how powerful they become after Gigantamaxing. If they're like really OP broken Pokemon, then it's probably going to get banned. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting ability. Alright, so this person here asked, is Olina going to be the Lusamine or the female villain of Sword and Shield? And the answer here is that Olina is going to be the Plumeria, but Rose is not the Guzma. And so we all know that for Guzma seemed like he was going to be an evil like team leader because he was the leader of Team Skull, but he wasn't actually evil. He didn't really have any evil intentions. So maybe that's what they mean with Chairman Rose. Like, he might seem like he's evil, but he's actually not going to be. And then Olina is apparently going to be the Plumeria, so I don't know how that's exactly going to work, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see. What are other existing Pokemon that are getting Galarian forms and or new evolutions? And they just said here that Delibird becomes an Ice and Ghost type and is like a butler. So yeah, I mean, Delibird is also another Pokemon that's very deserving of an evolution, so I can't wait to see what that's going to be like. This question here is, do you know if there are any plans for follow-up games like Ultra Sun and Moon, Emerald, or Platinum? And he just said no, sorry. So I mean, it's pretty expected. Obviously, like if a person has played the game early, they're not going to know if there's going to be like another version of the games coming out later. This person here said, tell me about Bede and Marnie. He said here that Bede is a rich snob and Marnie is a reluctant celebrity with a secret quest to defeat Eternatus and end the Gigantamaxing. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting storyline if that's going to be how it's going to work. I mean, Bede, I really hope is like a rich snob. Like, he definitely seems like he's going to be like that cocky type of rival, and I hope that they keep that. I really want him to be like a cocky, arrogant type of rival because I really missed having that. And Marnie also, I mean, Marnie says that she's going to have like the secret quest and everything. She definitely seems like she's going to be a secretive type of character, so I can't wait to see how that's all going to go. And then finally, the last thing that was asked was, what exactly is Eternatus and is he the third legendary? And the response here is, Eternatus is a giant Pokemon that came from below, which is turning Pokemon giant to try and wipe civilization and technology off of the face of the planet. So that is an insanely crazy storyline if that's how it's actually going to be, and I hope that it turns out to be true because I love Pokemon games when they have a deep story, and for the most part they really don't ever have that. Like, the one that I can think of that actually had like a really deep story in terms of Pokemon was Pokemon Black and White. So if we can get to story levels of that inside of Sword and Shield or even deeper, that would be very appreciated. And I can't wait to see what this whole Eternatus thing is going to be like. And so there you go, guys. That's the latest information about Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, as well as the Wise Man leak that's been going around. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please be sure to click that like button and also comment down below and let me know what you guys think of all this. What do you guys think of the starting town? How do you guys feel about the map of the wild area, as well as the title screens and the Wise Man leak? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. If you're new to this channel, then please be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to have some more Pokemon content in the future, so please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Click on that bell to become a part of the notification squad. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.